So, I got a proposition for ya. As we've played through Splatoon, Splatoon 2, and the Octo expansion, we've probably all thought about this once or twice. Who would win in a fight? Agent 3, Agent 4, or Agent 8? So for this video, I'm going to be using their most recent iterations, being after the events of Splatoon 2 Hero Mode and the Octo expansion, just to kind of discuss it all, and at the end, I'll draw my own conclusion. So anyways, Agent 3 is up first. Normally I would give some kind of brief rundown on these characters' history to give you a general idea of them. Thing is that with Agent 3 and 4 especially, we don't really have any of their backstory. None of them even have canon genders. Nintendo did this so that players could project themselves easier onto the characters, but like, for this purpose, it's kinda inconvenient. Anyways, the most we know about Agent 3 is that at the time of Splatoon 1, they were 14 years old, meaning that by now they are around 19. Agent 3 also immediately knows how to use a weapon as soon as they get to Ankopolis, so it's safe to assume that they have some sort of training. I'm holding out a little though. Agent 3, just a little bit after being recruited into the Squidbeak Splatoon, was able to single-handedly take down almost the entirety of the Octarian army solo, including those big Octo weapons and Octavio himself, huge machines that almost won the Octarians the Great Turf War around 100 years before the events of Splatoon. So Agent 3 is very talented when it comes to splatting Octos. After the events of the story in Splatoon 1, Agent 3 continued their work with the Squidbeak Splatoon as evidenced by the Octo expansion, so they've probably got a great deal of experience under their belt and would probably know how to counter just about anything thrown their way. Moving on then to Agent 4. So you know how I mentioned there isn't a whole lot to learn about Agent 3? Well, Agent 4 is no better. Oh, but one thing, from the Splatoon 2 art book, we find out that Agent 4 participated in a lot of extracurricular activities. Whoa! Now that's some deep lore right there, Bob.
I think I like Rice too.
Well, there is a trade-off there, since unlike Agent 3, Agent 4's age isn't exactly clear. Marie says that Agent 4 is 2 years older than Agent 3, meaning that by now, Agent 4 would be 21 years old. But that would contradict Hisashi no Ga. The producer of Splatoon said that Inklings from Splatoon 2 are 14 years old. My guess is that Marie is just dumb and just assumed Agent 4's age without asking them first. Ha! Take that, Marie! That's for all the sarcasm you made me endure through all these years. With Marie now put in her place, we can move on to the fact that, like Agent 3, Agent 4 was a natural at handling a firearm and taking out Octarian bases. These bases were a lot more hardened than the ones in Splatoon 1, since Callie is helping the Octarians in improving the bases. Callie also helped upgrade the Octo weapons to the Octo bosses, which are more powerful than the Octo weapons. They also took down Octavio in a timely fashion, although they did need some help from Marie, and of course, the MVP, Sheldon himself. No, not that Sheldon, this one. As for how much experience Agent 4 has with the Squidbeak Splatoon, I don't know. Hero Mode ends after the final boss, and for all we know, Agent 4 could have retired from the Squidbeak Splatoon altogether. It's unlikely, but it could be true. Your guess is as good as mine. Now for Agent 8, who we by far know the most about the backstory of, and it's still not a lot.
You get nothing! You lose!
Well, Agent 8 was trained as an Octoling soldier for several years. Unfortunately, they forgot most of their life because amnesia isn't that good for your memory. Some of that knowledge persisted, though, considering how well they hold up in the Octo expansion. They had to go through several tough tests in the Deep Sea Metro, although they did have some help from Pearl and Marie to skip some tests. They also defeated the sanitized Octo bosses. You remember how I mentioned how the Octo bosses are stronger than the Octo weapons? So the sanitized Octo bosses are even stronger than that. Another thing that can't be passed up is that 8 actually defeated Agent 3 while they were being controlled by Tartar. Problem is that it's kind of hard to judge whether or not that was 3 at their best, or if they were being limited by Tartar's inexperience in being anything other than a phone, but it's something to bring up nonetheless. However, just like Agent 4, we don't know if Agent 8 stuck with the Squidbeak Splatoon after the event of the expansion. Alrighty, hopping right into this. So one day, Agent 3, 4, and 8 are all hanging out when they decided to see who is the better agent through a 3-way deathmatch. You know, as you do. Well, they would have respawn points, of course. Anyways, who do you guys think would win? Place your bets! So, I'm gonna be up front here. Agent 4 is most likely not going to win this. Agent 4 has by far the least amount of experience out of the three. Agent 3 has over 5 years of experience fighting in the Squidbeak's platoon, and Agent 8 has tons of Octoling soldier training and has fought several Octo bosses that are specifically stronger than the ones Agent 4 fought. But wait now! Agent 4 fought Octo bosses that are stronger than the Octo weapons that Agent 3 fought. So wouldn't that just put them above 3? Well, I would say that, except for the fact of how much longer Agent 3 has been in the Squidbeak's platoon. Agent 3 keeps up with Agent 8, so I don't think it would be hard to believe that Agent 3 has fought Octo bosses in the past. Sorry, Agent 4, you're my favorite, but I don't think you're winning this one. Now for where this gets tricky. Agent 3 and Agent 8 are extremely evenly matched. I would say that the Octo expansion is a lot more intense in this Splatoon 1 campaign, but the sheer amount of experience 3 has makes things very hard to put a final decision to. Personally, I think 6 times out of 10, Agent 8 would win. Now, this is supported by the fact that Agent 8 defeated the sanitized Octos, something we 100% know for sure Agent 3 has never fought before, and by the fact that even though 3 was being controlled by Tartar, Agent 8 still beat 3 in head-to-head combat. Even though Tartar's inexperienced being an Inkling, he also removed the special limiter, so that would probably kind of sort of make up for it. That and 8 kinda sorta does have more experience than 3, training for most of their life as an Octoling soldier. That's why I have to give that itty bitty edge to 8. Yeah, now that I think about it, I don't think there's much doubt that the one who managed to tough through the entire Octo expansion would come out on top in the end. But who wins the battle between the entire Squidbeak's platoon is a discussion for another time. Bye-bye!